This is the Polished Business Podcast, where we discuss everything business, boss, and books. My name is Kimberly Beadle, and I am a registered Bass agent here in Australia, a certified bookkeeper, and I have a BA in psychology. And I am absolutely obsessed with supporting businesses and their success. Welcome to the Polished Business Podcast. I am joined today by Gabby from HerHR, and we are delighted to have her talk to us today as a business services expert in the HR space. I'm going to have Gabby introduce her business, and then we're going to go through our questions of what we think every industry should be aware of in the HR world. Gabby, thank you so much for joining us today.
Perfect. Thank you for having me. As you said, I'm Gabby. I'm the founder of HerHR, which I started about 6 months ago. Spent about 15 years working in strategic HR roles and supported thousands of small, medium, and global businesses over my time. I've got a law degree as well, which also helps bring that compliance lens to the work that I do as well. So I brought HR to fruition so that I could come back to my roots, bring that experience to the Illawarra business community, helping local leaders set up those strong people foundations for growth, and also supporting employees who need independent workplace guidance and support as well. So thanks for having me, and glad to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you. Our first question we like to ask, what do you love about your job?
I love being the person that businesses and employees trust when things feel uncertain, stressful, and high stakes, which can certainly be the case when you've got employees and a lot's on the line. For business owners, that often means helping them navigate, those tricky people situations, putting the right structures in place as well so they can grow confidently instead of reacting to problems later. I've had countless business owners come to scrambling on the back foot. This is the first time they've ever engaged HR, and there's a big problem that happens. Drink driving on the job, you
Oh my.
name it. I've seen it. Instead of scrambling and trying to put things into place reactively, I love to have that proactive approach so that we've got all the foundations set up so that if anything ever happens, we've got those foundations in place to support them. And then for employees, it's very different but equally powerful. Many come to me feeling stuck, unsure what to do, unsure what their options are. Sometimes they've been carrying these concerns for months, and it's absolute relief to be able to offload it to someone else and have that independent person who understands both HR and the legal landscape. So whether that's helping them navigate ADHD in the workplace or asking for menopause support in the workplace, helping them prepare for a promotion, pay rise conversation, or just navigating any kind of workplace issue. I love helping people give that clarity and that safe path forward.
I love that. In our bookkeeping world and business advisory world, I can relate a lot to what you just said about how people are often carrying these concerns for a while, or it's
Yeah.
already created a problem and now they're trying to, fix it, but they're got to struggle along. They come to us so stressed, and then you can just fix it.
Exactly. Or it's just been bubbling away for a long time and then something happens and
Yeah.
they're forced to deal with it.
Absolutely. What about your profession does not many people realize you can help with or do?
A lot of people think HR consultants are just for businesses without any HR, but I do regularly work with support leadership and HR teams to build those strong people frameworks. So often businesses that have 10 plus employees may have a HR generalist or an HR consultant in place. So they're on the ground running, doing all the day to day. I come in and I partner with businesses and HR teams to build those foundations, to build those compliant frameworks for them to carry on dancing and help build that long-term support for them. Things like clarity, role structure, performance systems, psychosocial risk management systems, that compliant people architecture that supports ongoing long-term growth. Secondly, many people don't realize that independent HR support exists for employees as well. It's really rare in Australia. In fact, I think I'm the only one in Australia doing it. Individuals review their contracts, prepare their negotiation strategies, request workplace support, understand their rights before situations escalate. There's a
Mm.
big gap for employees. There's a big gap basic free advice from Fair Work and then costly legal representation. There are unions, but they primarily support enterprise bargaining. There's no real middle person to support and proactively support before things escalate to needing legal representation, which seems a bit intimidating and reserved for certain circumstances. So HR isn't just about policies, it's about that structure and better decisions for both sides of the employment relationship.
On those 2 points that you raised, I have 2 questions. One, it sounded like you were saying that you don't necessarily need to be a business that wants to hire you as the HR forever. You could potentially come in and do a one-off or occasionally touching back a couple times a year to help the actual on-site team that are in there doing the day-to-day HR, but you come in as their backup and retrain, refine. Is that accurate?
They
Okay.
get that senior HR capability, but on a project needs or
Yeah.
on an initial setup and any ongoing support, they can reach out to me. Absolutely.
That's good because a lot of places, especially these days, they make you do a subscription service. You have to pay X amount of dollars every month, and then it doesn't matter if you need them that month or not. And it's a big commitment sometimes. So I love it when I hear any business that is offering catered support. So thank you for doing that. That's always good.
Yeah, and I find with a lot of, I guess, my competitors, uh, they'll try to do the upsell and lock you into those subscriptions.
Yeah.
Whereas I love to bring not only the HR advisory support, but also that holistic, framework of looking at the business in totality. And it's not just a rinse and repeat. You're looking at the business, understanding what their specific needs are and tailoring advice, but also that practical support as well to get the best outcomes.
Wonderful. And
Mhm.
then when you were talking about the HR support for the employee side of things, I was curious if somebody thinks that they need HR support, but they don't know necessarily, do they have to pay for a consultation or is it something where they can describe their situation? You can give a quote or a feedback about how to move forward, whether it's with you or with Fair Work, or if you're not the right fit, do you suggest the right fit? Like I know some people have a fixed income and maybe hesitant about what are they committing to when they do that initial reach out. Is there a conversation first?
Yeah, absolutely. So with employers and employees as well, I'll do up to a 15-minute discovery call just to see if we're the right fit. For employees, they can describe what's going on and see if that's something that I can help them with. If it's not something that I can help them with, I'll steer them in the right direction. But if it is, I'll frame out what I'm thinking, yeah, and different areas we can support and what that will look like, how long that would take, and what I've typically seen from experience as well. So having that
Y-
initial call is just so good. Peace of mind to know, am I in the right spot? Can you help
Yeah.
me?
What am I committing
Yeah.
to? That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What is the most common mistake you see business owners make related to your industry?
I think the biggest mistake I see is that businesses think they don't need HR until they reach a certain size, a certain team size. They think,
Mm.
oh, I've got less than 10 employees. I don't need HR. That's just fluffy or nice to have. I'll just wing it. But in reality, you need those foundations in place before your very first hire, not after something goes wrong. Every employee is a $1 million potential risk of fines, liability. So that's a
Mm.
lot on the line. I rephrase it to businesses in that you can't afford not to have the right systems in place. This is not something you want to wing. We wing a
Yeah.
lot in business in general. We liken it to insurance. You wouldn't run your business if you didn't have your public liability, etc. You want to have those frameworks in place. A lot of business coaches and mentors definitely focus mostly on growth and marketing revenue growth, which is absolutely so important. But we also need to protect the downside, protect the business that you're building. That's where a great HR fits in as well. There's the positive as well. When you get this right, you're not only reducing risk, but you're improving performance, engagement,
Mm.
and ultimately the bottom line as well.
And even communication between employee and employer with my clients when they have the right paperwork in place. There's not that block between employer and employer where they're like, I have to do this. I'm not sure how to do that. They can just be honest. Oh, hey, this is in my job description. I was wondering if I can expand in this way. There's more ease of communication because they feel confident.
Clarity is so important. It's such an underlying factor of why employees walk or when there's friction or workplace issues. It all underlying it comes down to clarity, being a clarity issue.
You were talking about insurance, and maybe some people might be thinking, oh, I don't need HR because I have insurance. But I know if I'm in a car and I get into an accident, my premium's going to go up. And there's also, plenty of other penalties that can go along with that. Can you describe if you have the HR side of things in place, what's the benefit against just having insurance? Because obviously, if you have employees, you have work cover, usually through eye care and similar, depending what state you're in and what's going on in the government. But you should have professional liability, public liability for your clients that are coming to premises. But what happens on the insurance side of things when things go wrong that are costly or a nuisance?
I'm sure if any business owner has been through the workers' comp uh, side of things, they can attest at how costly it is in terms of showing up on your premiums. And not only that, but time consuming as well.
Yeah.
Uh, so it takes so long. The system is really clogged up and it is a very long process that just takes so much time away from growing your business. So, uh, there's no way you can just rely on workers' comp to help you. It's a really costly, time-consuming decision as well, and a lot of people engage lawyers. Getting it right up front is always the cheaper option by far, by far. That question, I love that.
Yeah, and I love that you said about the time cost because it's not even just the time. I've had lots of clients that have had issues either in the past or I've seen it while I've been with them. And it's not just the time to go to the actual mediation or meeting or whatever, those specific, it's that time wasted thinking about it and the
Mm.
stresses leading up to each point or when it first comes up, thinking about that negative aspect takes away from your own productivity, I find, as a business owner. I don't know if you would agree with this, but what I've seen is even if one employee has an issue and you have to go through fair work or some sort of mediation, et cetera, it'll take a few months to roll out everything. And that's a few months worth of thinking about this thing. What could have you been doing in that time? How could you have been growing your business? How could you have been fine tuning things in your business and improving other aspects with your clients or your suppliers? And you've just given away all that energy and time to this problem when if you had set things up right in the early days, you would be able to do whatever you want every day.
Yeah, you're so right. I've had so many business owners come to me just saying, I didn't get any sleep last night, just worrying about it. It's a big time waster and stressor. And then something else we haven't mentioned that's worth mentioning is the reputational damage as well of how does that impact the rest of the team when they see that someone has gone a workers comp? It's not a good look. And then when they tell the rest of the community that they're off on workers comp from XYZ business, there's a reputation cost involved as well. That's really important. That could absolutely be minimized.
100%. And we're both in the Illawarra, south of Sydney, and it's a very big community down here, but everyone knows each other.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
everyone knows someone that knows each other. Just as you said, definitely the reputation can be immediate. And even if you have established business, well, you only need a couple people to have issues. But I'm going a bit off track, and maybe we would talk about this and other things, but I'm just passionate about this side of things for what I've seen with my clients too. Even if a problem does arise, and maybe somebody listening today might be like, oh, but I've already had this issue and I'm already in the middle of a fair work issue. I just do want to mention it's not too late to get support and to do things right now It improves so much quicker when you have the right HR support, the right contracts in place. And for your current employees, just do it now. If you've had employees for ages and you just don't have all necessarily the right things in place, but you're getting by, and maybe you've had a little issue here and there, just roll out new contracts now. You can start fresh, even if you've been in it or you're in the middle of something. It's never too late, is what I often talk to my clients about. I know we're on the bookkeeping side of things, but we see things come through the bank feed and employers end up talking to us about, we also handle their payroll very often for all of our clients. So we have to put things through workers' comp, or somebody's on leave, or somebody's going through a termination situation. So we're very much at the forefront of those conversations too. And we have that chat a lot, like, okay, let's take some steps now to avoid this happening in the future, or make this current situation easier. It's never too late.
Absolutely. It's never too late. And then when I have clients that are, 10, 12 people in and they've never touched HR before, we pick up where they are. And so
Mhm.
if we're introducing new things, we have the right language to introduce it. So it's not a shock to a team when you're introducing new contracts. As the business has developed and matured, our HR policies and contracts are, reflecting that. We're getting that all in place to mirror what's already happening, but just to provide that clarity for all of us. So there's definitely, things that we can really pick up exactly where they are. And you're right, it's never too late. So you'd see things like when you're doing payroll and looking at someone's wages, you'd see things that might trigger whether or not they have contracts. Like, do they have an all-inclusive pay rate, or is shift loading extra, annual leave loading? Is that extra, or is that
Yep.
included in their salary? So you'd be
We
able
have
to pick up
conversations a
their
lot like,
maturation.
I noticed there's no leave loading on that annual leave. Was that on purpose, or it's just not set up correctly in your accounting software? And usually it's like, what? It's not set up. It a bit and we can fix it. It's all fixable, as well to catch it than to Fair Work or, legal to catch it. It's a lot
Yeah,
cheaper to
exactly.
like spend an hour fixing something, getting it right and updated and pay what you owe than to engaging lawyers, engaging time and energy. Yes. Yeah.
And what you were saying as well, if someone's in the middle of being taken to Fair Work, there's always an upside to grabbing an HR person on board as well. You can get an early settlement. You can have a strategy in place to minimize what the ultimate settlement is going to cut as, or what the ultimate outcome is. So it might seem like it's costly, but in the long run, when you look at it all, it'll actually save you money from having that strategy in place for
Yeah.
sure.
It's also just backup. There's a lot of uncertainty about this kind of thing because there's no way every business owner could be an expert about all of the legislations involved in this side of things. Having somebody in your corner as you go through these processes, I've seen so many people benefit from that. So they just go, oh,
And you
okay,
don't know
do
what
it.
you
You
don't
tell me what
know.
to do and I'll do it.
So
And they can
true. The
trust.
law landscape is constantly changing. There's always new case law coming out that makes a strategy. So there's many HR professionals that don't have a firm grasp on it because it's an ever-changing beast. The legislation and case law landscape. I would not say business owner to be able to keep up with it either. It's great to have your expert team on hand to call on.
Yeah. Even when we've had people talk to us and be open with us about what's happening, and we've given information to their legal team about when they're interacting in the situation. And we've even been able to pop up and say, hold on. I mean, we want the employee to be treated correctly, but sometimes they're misinformed or they've made assumptions. I've said, wait. No, there's been 3 or 4 situations where we've been there to help, and it's saved them thousands of dollars just because they talked to somebody that honestly knows more in that space than the business owner will, because having a BAS agent bookkeeper or an accountant or a lawyer or an HR support person they are going to catch things that you very well won't know about, and you might just pay it. No. Hold on, let's just adjust this and pay what you're supposed to pay, because that's the right thing to do, of course. But I'm sorry, that's $3,000 too much because of this and that. And yep, there you go. The lawyer agrees with me. So we just saved you because we had spent an hour talking about it. Worth it getting somebody wherever you are in this stage. Okay, I'm going to go back
Absolutely.
to the questions because I know I'm kind of
No,
I
I
got
love it
excited.
though.
All right. An important topic, so much to discuss. We'll continue the conversation in the next episode. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Polished Business Podcast. Check out all our episodes for valuable information for the business boss and books. To apply to be a guest or stay connected, follow Polished Business on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and YouTube. Don't forget to join the Polished Business platform for free support or one of our paid tiers. All the best in your business journey.